Okay, so it's time for another Chainsaw Man chapter. This week it's chapter 79 of Chainsaw Man, titled Play Catch. Play Catch. It's been a while, guys. Last week there were no chapters for Chainsaw Man, no chapters for Shonen Jump manga. They had a break for everyone over there. Well-deserved break because we've been having a great continuous stream of good content from them. They deserve a break for at least 1 week. And during that break, I haven't been doing anything. Well, besides rearranging my room. Now we're in this corner instead of against that wall. That was fun. I also pulled up all the carpet in here by myself. That was fun. So if you appreciate my pain and you appreciate that Chainsaw Man's back, please leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and check out my Twitch account, which I'm going to be streaming Ghost of Tsushima back over there soon, hopefully. And check out my Twitter account, everything at 119 and everything linked below. So with no further ado, let's jump into this week's chapter. So starting off, we just have to acknowledge this week's cover page, which is Denji, Aki, and Power at a indoor fish aquarium. They're at an aquarium. But it's the kid versions of them. In the past 2 chapters, we've had the inner process of Aki as he's been fighting Denji and Power, and in his mind they're all kids. So this is a really nice cover page for that. We also see in the bottom corner, we see that volume 8 is coming out soon, and it has a nice colors page for that as well. Jumping to the actual chapter, we see Denji with a hole in his gut, and I think it's actually closing up. It's his wound that he just got in last week's chapter, in the last chapter, from Aki, the gun fiend. Like, I hope you didn't forget that. Aki is the gun fiend, and Denji is going up against him. And we see Kid Aki telling Denji to get up, basically saying, like, and Kid in Aki's mind, he's just a kid again, having a snowball fight with Denji. But in the real world, he's just decimating the entire area. Just look behind Denji and you see 2 cars turned over, complete just blocks of buildings decimated. They continue fighting as the gun fiend is just having an amazing time with this, shooting another hole out the side of Denji, and Denji having to get in close to block them. But the issue is that when he does this, Denji isn't doing the damage that the gun fiend is doing to him. It's not an equal trade-off. Then we see Kid Aki say, "Oh, my hands are getting cold," as he's throwing a snowball. So what does the gun fiend do? He uses the gun on his head to basically blast a Kamehameha towards Denji, and again just decimate, destroy, cause havoc across the entire area. But Denji's still standing. I'm just looking at it. Denji is not doing good. This is not a good. I don't know how well Denji can last with this. We know that back in what was that chapter? That was my chapter 76. Oh, 77 by now. 77. Makima informed Denji what was going to happen, that the gun fiend was going to be at his front door, and that all Denji had to do was fight, not think about anything else, just fight. And I think Denji's been doing some good tactics. He's been getting around the gun fiend and like trying to protect people, but he hasn't been just fighting, which I feel like means Denji is going to have to basically put everything out and maybe open the door and let whatever that is out to actually be able to hold a candle to the gun fiend. What the heck? That just shocked me, because we see I read ahead a little bit. I try not to, but I love the story, so I read ahead sometimes. And we see Denji on the ground, torn up, battered. He's missing an arm. It looks like both his legs are crushed, and he's coughing up blood. When a devil coughs up blood, you know that's an issue. And we see just regular passerbys, an old man, not an old man, an old woman, and some people just walk up to him. And this woman grabs a kitchen knife out of nowhere, and it seems to be about to stab Denji, trying to kill him for whatever reason. Like, is this just a regular human? Is this like one of the master's puppets from all those chapters ago? What is happening? And as she comes down, she stabs her hand. She doesn't stab Denji. And that's amazing, considering the last time the public really saw Denji, they saw him fighting Reize. That's the whole starting point of the Assassin's arc. And now they're trying to help Denji because they see that he's putting everything on the line for them. And that's just heartwarming. That's amazing. You never see something like that in Fujimoto's work. Like, there are no nice characters, basically. But Chainsaw Man's different, apparently. And the lady gives Denji her blood, and she says, "Save us." And everyone else starts doing it as well. Like, they even mention that they've seen him on TV. They know what he can do. Please, please, we have family here. Save us. And Denji gets up again, leading us to another beautiful page of just the Chainsaw Man looking at the gun fiend, silhouetted from the morning sun. We go back to Aki's inner mind. I'm just gonna call him Aki. Aki is having a snowball fight again, and he gets hit a lot of times. Next thing we see is that Aki is like, "Oh, okay, let me retaliate," and Kid Denji is crying, and this gives Aki a pause, saying that he's never seen Denji cry before. Now thinking back at it, I don't think he has. Denji has always either had no real emotions about anything, not per se because he's a devil and he just doesn't care, but because of how he was raised, he's seen a lot of things. Nothing really hits him like that. It takes something special. As you can remember when Denji and Makima went to the movie, it takes something special to make either Denji or Makima cry. And Denji's crying now. And Aki falls. And he's like just like a little kid. He's like, I never liked snowball fights anyway. Fine, you win. I lost. But when he stands up again, Denji's gone. And it's truly like when Aki was a kid and he sees his little brother saying, "I got gloves." Looking back to the real world, we see the gun fiend, our boy Aki, has 2 chainsaws stabbed in his chest as Denji's form changes back into his human form. And we see a dead body, which is the gun fiend, on the ground with Denji over it, crying or doing his most not to cry, as the future devil's on top of a freaking building looking down at him. Meaning the future he saw came true. Hayakawa Aki, you ultimately did die the worst death for the chainsaw boy that is. That's where this chapter ends, with Aki smiling, playing catch with his little brother. A sad, sad story. Especially because the future devil says something that kind of hurts. He says, "You really did have the worst death for Denji, for the chainsaw boy." It's considering this isn't the worst death to go out on. In like a anime manga type trope, being killed by your best friend, that's not a bad way to go out. But that is the worst way Denji could see his best friend die by his own hands. Denji, the person that thinks about, is he a monster? Is he actually human? Did fusing with Pochita actually do something to him that makes him not human anymore? Like, with that type of feelings inside of himself, the fact that he had to kill his own friend so that his friend didn't harm too many more people, that means something. And yeah, that's the end of the chapter. There's a little bit more from just, little Kishibe draws some like little comic strips basically of characters. Kobeni has some. It looks like Kishibe's have some for the rest of the chapter. So I'm not gonna go over those really because I'm kind of depressed now. It doesn't feel rushed. I didn't expect it to end like this per se. It ended how we thought it was gonna end. Denji killing Aki, the gun fiend. But I thought we were gonna see like an actual much bigger power up with Denji, which, to be honest, we've never actually had in this storyline. We've just seen stronger and stronger characters, and Denji just do the same thing. Still, at this point in time, I can say I don't know where the story's gonna go. It can really go anywhere. I'm not gonna say that the story's gonna end in the next 20 chapters because we honestly don't know. This can take any amount of turn. So let me know about down below. Where do you think it's gonna go? And that's the end of this week's video. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you just like the video, leave a dislike. But jump in the comments down below, hit me up on Twitter, and let me know how you felt about this chapter, because I'm definitely about to go to work depressed after this. But nevertheless, thanks for watching. Peace.
Hey,